The local hardware store was owned by a man named Elias, who had seen every type of customer in his 40 years behind the counter. But there was one man, a construction worker named Marcus, who came in every Saturday morning at exactly 8 a.m. Marcus was a quiet man with calloused hands and a faded work shirt. But he had a peculiar habit that baffled Elias. Every single week, Marcus would buy 2 of the exact same lunchbox, 2 thermos flasks, 2 sets of work gloves, 2 heavy-duty hammers. He wasn't a contractor buying in bulk. He was buying high-quality, expensive gear in pairs. One Saturday, Elias couldn't help himself. He joked that Marcus must be the most forgetful man in the county to keep losing his tools every 7 days. Marcus didn't laugh. He just smiled softly, paid for his items, and carried the 2 heavy bags out to his old truck. One afternoon, a young man named Julian walked into the store. He looked exhausted. His boots were falling apart, and he was asking Elias for the cheapest, most basic hammer in the shop. He looked like someone who had just landed his first job, but didn't have the money to actually do it. As Elias reached for the bargain bin, Marcus walked in. He didn't say a word. He just walked over to Julian, handed him one of the high-end bags he had just purchased, and walked back out to his truck. Julian was stunned. Inside the bag was a professional-grade toolkit, a lunchbox packed with a fresh meal and a note. Elias, now fully invested, followed Julian outside. They watched as Marcus drove away. Elias finally realized that for 10 years, Marcus had been spending half his paycheck every week on a shadow kit. He was looking for the people that everyone else ignored, the beginners, the ones struggling to keep their heads above water, the ones about to quit. The story doesn't end there. Years later, Elias was ready to retire, but the hardware store was failing. Big box retailers were moving in, and he was weeks away from bankruptcy. One morning, a luxury SUV pulled up. A man in a sharp suit stepped out. It was Julian. He wasn't a struggling kid anymore. He was the CEO of one of the largest infrastructure firms in the state. Julian hadn't come to buy a hammer. He had come to buy the building. He told Elias that the day Marcus handed him those tools, he was hours away from giving up on his apprenticeship and moving back to the streets. That single bag of tools gave him the dignity to show up to the job site feeling like a professional. Julian purchased the store and turned it into a community center for vocational training, naming it the Marcus Foundation. Marcus, now an old man, was invited to the grand opening. He tried to stay in the back of the crowd, but Julian spotted him. He told the audience that Marcus didn't just give him tools. He gave him a future. Marcus never knew that his quiet Saturday morning habit would eventually build bridges and skyscrapers across the country. He just thought he was buying a lunchbox for a friend he hadn't met yet. It proves that the most powerful things we build aren't made of steel or concrete. They are built with the moments where we decide that someone else's success is worth our own sacrifice. We spend our lives trying to leave a mark on the world, but sometimes the best mark you can leave is the tool you put in someone else's hand so they can build their own dream. Comment BUILD if you're helping someone grow.